Hi there, and welcome back everyone for another movie review. This is Ivo Remo McLean for life once again for another movie review discussion and of course another video. And of course now I'm gonna review, and that's the third movie in the Matrix series, and of course that's the Matrix Revolutions. Came out 2003, was released on 5th November. And yeah, this is my review and my take on the Matrix Revolutions. And I actually dug why this movie is now least people's favorite. Why a lot of people were actually very disappointed with this film. I actually understand why this movie is actually people's least favorite film, or why it's so hated. And I actually dug. It's actually one of my least favorite The Matrix films, and definitely one of my least favorite Keanu Reeves films. But I like this film. I really like this film, and I'm just gonna go into right in it. In the spoiler alert, Neo is killed in this movie, and I was really kind of disappointed with that ending, because I care about Neo. Neo is one of my favorite characters. Neo is actually one of my favorite characters Keanu Reeves played, and I love Keanu Reeves. I love Keanu Reeves. I love the John Wick films. I also love all three The Matrix films. The first two Matrix are definitely my favorite movies he did. I love both of them. This is actually a fitting conclusion to the third movie, but but I was actually really shocked and disappointed that Neo is killed. Well, I was fooled by this film. For like 10 years, I don't know, for a very long time, I was sure that Neo survives on the end, because the camera shows that he's alive, and I was definitely sure that he's alive. But when I watched this movie last night, I was like, what? Wait, is he dead? And when I checked online, the Matrix Online says that he's dead. So why? I mean, they should not have killed him off. I was fine with Trinity, that she was killed off, but I was not fine that they go and kill off one of my favorite characters. And I understand now why people don't like this movie, or why it's their least favorite film. It still has problems. I have still a lot of issues with this film. But there are also stuff in the film that I really like a lot. And I actually think it's a fitting conclusion to the third movie. And I think this movie should have just ended the franchise, the trilogy. I was fine with it, because Neo kicked Mr. Smith's ass. He saved the universe. He stopped the war. And he sacrificed himself, which I love that. But I wasn't happy that he dies. I was pretty sure that he survives. But no, this movie go and kill off one of my favorite characters that I really don't like. That's one of the reasons it's one of my least favorite films now. And this used to be one of my favorite Keanu Reeves films, but not anymore, because they go and kill him off. But still, it's a good movie. It's a solid, good movie. I like this film. Now, I wasn't also happy that they go kill off Trinity, because I actually think that she could live in this film, or at least Neo. They could just let them live. I'm definitely sure that Neo will survive. I was 100% sure he was still alive and kicking. And I was actually really, like I said, I was fooled with this film, and the ending really disappointed me, because Neo should have lived. That's just me, because I love the character. I love Thomas A. Anderson, Neo, computer programmer, and a hacker, and I love that. And one of the most iconic characters Keanu Reeves ever played, and I really love this film. I mean, I dug this film a lot. Why people were so disappointed, why when this movie came out in movie theater, the movie theater was empty, because no one really cared when the movie came out. And I understand why now the hate for it. But there's still some good elements in this film, still good stuff in it. The other problems and the issues in the film was, like, I love Monica Bellucci's character in the second movie when she shows up. I do like her character, but her character is she barely has to do anything. Like in the second movie, she goes and shoots one of those bodyguards in the head. This movie, she first off, her costume is changed, and she has only one few sentences, and that is it in the fucking film. And she pretends like she doesn't even know who Morpheus and Trinity are, and that's what I don't like about the film. And the other thing felt like this plot was rushed because this was filmed back to back with Reloaded, and it feels like it was very rushed, that they had to rush with those scenes, with the plot, because the plot isn't the best of this film. Yeah, that's another problem that I do have. And also the actor who played Wilson Lambert, who played or was Lambert Wilson, who played Norwegian, or was Merovingian, Merovingian, Lambert Wilson, who played Merovingian. He's supposed to, he barely has anything to do in this film. Like in the second movie, he had a lot to do. In this movie, he's only in one scene, and when he talks to Trinity, and of course to Morpheus, and that is it. Those two characters are like useless and wasted in this movie. The other problems I had with the film was it was actually that I wish that Neo, Trinity, and Morpheus, they will be once the last time together, kicking ass, but that really didn't happen that in the film. The another problem is that the movie is not set in the. It's actually the action set in the real world and not in the Matrix, in the virtuality reality like we are used to, but it just wasn't set that much in the Matrix. So this is actually one of the few problems that I do have with the film. I wish that Morpheus, who had to do a lot to do, he barely has anything to do in this film. I wish he would do a lot. I wish that Morpheus, played by Lawrence Fishburne, had to do a lot in this film. But those are kind of issues and problems with this film. But I really still like the film. The rest, there's still a lot of stuff in the film that I do like. One of the reasons I do like APU Defense, Armored Personnel Unit. That's actually, that was one design. They designed one. They actually only designed one of these correctly. That cost them a lot because the budget for this movie was once again $150 million. But I do love this one, APU, which is defense, which they have like machine guns on their arms, and I love the design for APU Defense, Armored Personnel Unit. I love that scene, and that's the only design one robot. The rest of the robots, there was CGI, but they designed one correctly, kind of cost them a lot. But I actually love this personal APU Defense, this robot, which was by Captain Nimu. I love the character, Captain Mifune. I love that he's he's a badass. I actually like the character played by Nathaniel Lees, and I kind of felt bad when he was killed off. Another favorite scene of mine is when Trinity and Neo are actually on this ship and they want to go to Machine City, and of course this actor played by Ian Blease, Bane, he's actually Mr. Smith is actually in him, and he grabs Trinity, tries to stab her, she goes like a badass, kicks him out, she escapes, and I love the scene when Bane grabs her for the leg, she falls down, and she goes and kicks him like 4 times in the face, and you see the actor really got the hits, and he was like, he was like spit blood. It was awesome scene, and I love that she's like a badass, she kicks her in the fucking face. I love Trinity in this movie. I love her so much. I love Carrie-Anne Moss in this movie. She did a great job, and she kicked her in the fucking face, and I love that like 4 times. felt like realistic. The other scenes was when Keanu Reeves and Mr. Smith, the showdown between those two, which was great scenes, the showdown between those two. That was actually done for real. It was, which choreographer was once again Yuen Wu Ping, who directed one of my favorite Hong Kong movies, Tiger Cage 2, and of course Hugo Weaving and Keanu Reeves, they really did fight each other for real, which that was awesome. They both fight each other for real. And when I watched the special features, I didn't saw if they mentioned why they kill off Neo, but it still was a great fitting conclusion in my opinion. Just Neo should be survived, he should be alive, because I wanted that. Because in online, the Matrix Online was said that the machines took over Neo's body and the humans wanted to get it back, but the machines refused to do it. But the fight scenes were really great. They actually really did in the real mod, and it was real raining in the real mod. They actually filmed the scenes with the CGI, but the fight scenes with the wires, it was kind of really, difficult, because both the actors, they were both in the wires, and that was really hard to do. Like I said, in the second movie, Keanu Reeves said it was really hard to do the second movie than the first one, but they were both on the wires. And they both there fight each other. And I actually love that it was a fitting showdown between those two. And we find out that Mr. Smith is actually the part of Neo. He's the part of him, and he's actually the part of Neo. But he's part of Neo, and of course the machine, the machine. What is the machine? Deus Ex Machina, which is the face that speaks to Neo. They throw his energy source in which he destroys Mr. Smith and he saves everyone. But then Neo dies, and like twice camera shows him, and I was sure he's alive. If that were me, I would actually rewrote the script, and I will make sure that Neo survives. That Neo survives, and he's a savior. He ends the world. He ends the war. He saves everyone. That's what I will do. Or at least the Trinity survives. Another thing I will do. But yeah, Matrix Revolutions, I still thought that it was a fitting conclusion, because Neo goes saves everyone. I'm not sure I'm not happy that his character dies, but I still enjoyed that. Besides, in which Keanu Reeves fights off Mr. Smith, I wish he would do more. I wish his character would have do more in the Matrix, but he isn't. I also like I said, I love the design for this robot for APU defense, multi-person unit, or when they use the machine guns and shoot those sentinels, those robot sentinels that try to kill them, and they're using. I love that scene. Then also in the club scene, in Merovingian club scene, when of course those three with Seraph, they go and fights those guards, in the club. And I wish that Morpheus, or at least Trinity, she will do more in the Matrix. I wish that they chase this guy played by Bruce Spencer from Mad Max. I forgot what was his name. The Train Man. He's the Train Man. Bruce Spencer. He plays the Train Man. He's the Train Man. But yeah, I really do wish that Morpheus had a lot to do like he did in the second movie, because the first two movies I love. I love the second movie to death. I love the first one to death. It's my favorite, the first one. I saw it movie theater. Haven't seen the second one movie theater, but I did saw the first one. And the first two movies I really love. I thought they were great for the action, the scenes. This kind of lacked on the action scenes. But another scene I forgot to mention that I do love is in the ship, when Bane ties up Carrie Moss and throws her down under the deck, and he goes and fights off Neo. He fights off Neo, and of course, and he blinds Neo in the face, in his eyes, but he see like on the burning, Mr. Smith. And I actually love that scene when he goes and beheaded Mr. Smith, Bane's head. He beheaded him with some long iron stick. He goes and beheads him. I love that scene. It was great scene. I just love that scene where he see all the fire. I love that scene. The special effects, I also love the film for the Machine City. They designed, the stuntman teams, actually the special effects teams, they designed such a great, beautiful location. I think it was in Australia that they actually designed that beautiful location in Machine City. I don't know if I'm correctly, because I read that the final scenes were actually filmed in Australia, because in the first movie they were also filmed when the showdown between Mr. Smith and of course Neo. But yeah, but actually there is still stuff in the film that I enjoy. Now the plot, Neo is actually stuck in this, in another in another matrix, in another program, and only the trainman can get him back. But Neo finds out in this tunnel, in the subway, he meets this girl Sati and her parents, and he finds that the train is coming. And of course the trainman, because the trainman who works for Merovingian, because Merovingian gave a price on their head, and he kept Neo as a prisoner in this subway station in this program, and of course when Morpheus and Trinity finds this out from the Oracle, and I forgot to mention, yes, another problem was Oracle, because she was smoking. Like in the first two movies, she wasn't smoking. She was replaced by Alice Mary. Gloria Foster did only a few scenes for the second movie before she passed away. Alice Mary, actually Mary Alice, she replaced her, and she actually smoked her. I didn't like that she was smoking. Another problem with that. So when Trinity and Morpheus finds this out, they go with Seraph to this Merovingian's club, and they kicks ass. And then they convince, because when the trainman shows up, played by Bruce Spencer, because they try to catch up but escape, he says now what they wanted, and he leaves Neo back in the subway. He takes the family, they go with the train, so he can't. So now, because he's stuck in this in this program, and Neo can't go, he tries to walk through the tunnel, but he gets back, and he's now alone. He's probably going to be alone forever. But somehow Trinity convinces him, because she said, because she was ready to kill everyone, and of course, Monica Bellucci says, she's in love. She's gonna kill you. She's gonna kill everyone. She's mean it. So they get Neo back. Neo needs to find out what to do next in a virtual world. And then he said, I'm actually going to Machine City, and no one in the human resistance wants to give him a ship, but Jada Pinkett, she gives him her ship, and he goes with the ship in the Machine City to end the war with Trinity, while the human resistance, with of course APU defense armored personnel unit, they go and stand there and they fight those machines, those sentinels, and they're too many. And like I said, I love the design by which wears by Captain Mifune, and I thought that's a great scene, and I love the robot design, APU defense. I love that. That's kind of little different from the first two movies, but yeah. Meantime, like I said, Keanu Reeves, Neo, and of course Neo and Trinity, they go on this ship, and before the finale scene, we find out that they found Bane with all the cuts and all the cuts on his arm, and didn't know what happened. And when Bane, he came to, he said he doesn't remember anything, but actually he does. He kills that girl, that nurse, he kills her, and then he tries to kill Neo. At first wants to kill Neo, then Trinity. And like I said, Neo, when he swings by Neo says, "I can see you." He goes, kicks his ass, and he beheads him with a tire iron. He goes at the hands, just call it tire iron. Okay, beheads him. Love that scene. Great special effects. They go with the ship. And there's another scene that I love by Neo when he uses on the Sentinels, his power, and he destroys all the Sentinels. He destroys all the Sentinels. They landed. And of course Trinity gets killed, she gets stabbed, and Neo survives. He goes to the Shin City, and he talks to Deus Ex Machina, in the face that talks to Neo, and he says that I want peace. Let me go back in the Matrix so I can stop this programmer Smith. He went out of control. And of course Deus Ex Machina says, no, we don't need you. And of course Neo says, then okay, then kill me. And then they change their mind, and they hook them up in the Matrix. And like I said, the final showdown between Neo and Mr. Smith was awesome. It was spectacular. I mean, Mr. Smith says, why do you keep pursuing Mr. Henderson? Why do you keep fighting Mr. Henderson? I just love that scene when Hugo Weaving, he did such a great performance as Mr. Smith. And of course Neo says, because I choose to. It's like, because I choose to. And I love that scene, and they go fight off. There's actually a lot of stunt wire, which they're in the air, and they fight each other. And I just love, I just love that scene. I only wish that also, just like in the second movie, Neo would fight more Mr. Smith, not just one. He will fight more of them, like 80s Mr. Smith he fight in the second movie. That's the only thing I wish in the film. But overall, I enjoy this film. I mean, I like this film, but like I said, it's my least favorite in the Matrix films, in the trilogy, and of course this movie, like I said, it cost $150 million. The budget, just like the second movie, was filmed back to back with Reloaded, and was also filmed with I think was Enter the Matrix, the video game, or was the part of Neo, I'm not sure, but it was filmed back to back. And of course, this movie made this actually worldwide. It made $423 million. Because of all the three movies, this made less money than the first two movies did. The first movie, actually I forgot. The first movie got around $500 million. The second one, I remember, was $741 million. The second movie, the first one made the first one made around $450 million, somewhere there. This movie made less than the first movie. The second movie was $741 million it cost worldwide. So the second movie even surpassed the budget and the worldwide domestic box office for Terminator 2. It surpassed that sequel. This one made less money than the first two movies did. Also, the next sequel that came out was like 18 years later, The Matrix Resurrections. I have not seen that movie. My friend went and see it on Christmas Eve, and he hated the film. He said it was a piece of shit movie. He was so disappointed and very outrageous because what happened. I haven't seen the film, but I'm planning to see it. But like I said, this one of the three, made less money than the first two movies did. And of course, the fourth one made like what, $75-85 million worldwide. The fourth one was a disaster. But still, still with the negative comments, because I understand why is this people's least favorite film, or why they hated this film. I understand, because the first one is accepted. But yeah, it made it gross in US and Canada, which was weekend $48 million worldwide. US and Canada was $139 million, while worldwide it made $427 million. Maria Ellis replaced the role of the Oracle because Gloria Foster, the original actress, passed away from diabetes, which is sad, and rest in peace. I also enjoyed this guy, Clayton Watson. He played Kit when he reloaded, when he went and reloaded the APU with ammo. He reloaded it, or he went himself and he opened that part, that door, in the APU. I like that scene. That was really awesome. And Nathaniel Less as Captain Mifune. I really enjoy him. He did great as I love his character, and I wasn't happy he was killed off. He was a badass, and they killed him off in this movie too. Maybe the Wachowski tries to sacrifice his character. Now Keanu Reeves earned $15 million he earned, and that's $400,000 for every minute of screen time. So that's awesome. And yes, Enter the Matrix, Revolutions, and Reloaded, they were all filmed back to back, so that's cool. The special effects crew spent 2 months designing the apparatus to make the perfect raindrop. So yes, when you see the showdown between Smith and Neo, that was actually done for real, because they were in the real mud. They really fought in the real mud, and it was kind of really hard to do those scenes. And the story is continued in The Matrix Online, and it says that Neo is dead, and that shouldn't be. Also, the film dropped 66% in total earnings. And once again, Kung Fu choreographer was Yuen Wo Ping. But yeah, it's just, I really like this film a lot. But like I said, Neo should be alive. He's my favorite character, one of my favorite iconic characters Keanu Reeves played, and I care about Neo, Thomas Anderson, and he shouldn't be dead. But I'm glad he saved everyone. I'm glad that he saved the universe. I'm glad that he went and he saved the universe. But I wasn't happy that when I found out he's dead. This movie fooled me. I was pretty sure he's still alive, but no, they killed off his character. Yes, of course, they resurrected him now in the 4th movie. Like I said, I haven't seen the resurrection, because this is actually my review for the 3rd movie, which I watched last night. And I did not much enjoy as the first 2 movies, because it's still slow paced. The movie still goes very slow. But I wish that there would be more action. The Matrix, I wish that those 3 would be once together in the Matrix, kicking ass, taking no names, taking no prisoner, but that didn't happen. And I understand why this movie isn't so awesome like was the first two movies. Like the first movie was, I understand that it's not what people expected. It's not what actually people expected. Um, Donis Davis did once again return with the music score. Um, Yes, Don and Davis return once again with the music score, and of course, this was written and directed once again by the Wachowski brothers. And for the, I don't know if they did if they got Razzie Awards for this movie, because for the second movie they did got Razzie Award and a Stinker Award, which I disagree, because the second movie was still then good movie. Well, definitely a great sequel in my opinion. This was a decent sequel. Could have been much better film, but it was a decent sequel, a fitting conclusion to the end of the film. I still like the film, but I counted a lot of issues about the film. But yes, it's actually a decent film, a decent science fiction film. And yeah, so that's my review on The Matrix Revolutions. Hope you enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And take care, and I'll see you next time in the new movie reviews. I'm out. Peace. Bye bye.